Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon charge for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail.
Welcome to A New Tree Telling, the podcast where we explore all the ways old tales are made new. I'm your host, Jasmine Garcia. Merry Christmas. And joining me today are...
I am Charlotte Driftwood, like it or not.
Rachel Marlowe.
And I am Jim Marlowe. Some people call me Dad or JJB.
Why might we call you Dad?
Oh, that's a good question. I am here with my two children. My youngest is Charlotte Driftwood, and, of course, my lovely daughter, Rachel Marlowe.
It just makes sense our Christmas episode would end up with me hosting a whole family of one of my dear friends, so I love this for us.
Right.
Yes, I agree. I think Christmas is a family holiday.
And I have not been in a country that celebrates a family holiday called Christmas since 2021. I was living in the Republic of Georgia, where they celebrate Russian Orthodox Christmas in January, which is literally a Christ Mass. You go to church and they tell you about the wise men who really ought to lay off the myrrh. I figured, mi primero Navidad en 4 años, I should spend it con mi familia.
Sí, muy bien.
It is muy bien. And I'm glad you said it. And Jazz does Wish episodes.
I forgot to mention this is one of your Wish episodes, Charlotte. And would you like to tell our audience what you have chosen for your first wish?
I did not choose anything for my first wish. I said for my first Wish episode, I will defer to Rachel Marlowe because she picks which movies we watch on Christmas Eve. It's the rule.
Fair enough.
You know how that got to be the rule?
I don't know how it got to be the rule. I would like to hear it.
I'm not telling you.
Yes, I'd like to hear that too, actually. Rachel, tell us about the rule.
Rachel, tell us about the rule.
You all know that I love Christmas, right? And one thing I love most of all about Christmas is getting and giving presents.
That's true.
But both, right? And so I got so excited on Christmas Eve that I couldn't sleep the whole night.
True.
So instead of staying up all night by myself, I enlisted the help of Emily to stay up with me.
Emily being the middle sibling who is busy taking care of animals at this moment.
So I enlisted the help of Emily to stay up all night with me because I don't know about misery loves company because it was still fun because it was still going to be Christmas, but I could not sleep the whole night.
Sleep deprivation loves company.
Sleep deprivation loves company.
And eventually they brought Charlotte into it as well, so that the three of them...
Charlie came one time, and Charlie was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm happy.
I think I did it at least twice, but, as we always say, Dad, I know that I should be sleeping.
Yes, exactly. Feliz Navidad.
Well, that was Mamacita, ¿dónde estás?
Oh, yes, see, exactly. Mamacita, ¿dónde está Santa Claus?
My father was raised Catholic, but only taught us the secular traditions when we were growing up, but really went all in on the secular traditions. So I have always said that I am a Santafarian.
Okay, so have we said what the movie is that we picked yet?
What movie did you pick, Rachel, and why?
I picked Karroll's Christmas.
Greetings, I am IER60, Thyroid Retelling Connections. Point of intersection found. This is a degree 6. Wallace Shawn was in The Addams Family too, with Oscar Isaac, and Alana Ubach was in Maya and the Three with Diego Luna.
Karroll's Christmas is a retelling of the Christmas Carol, except they get the wrong house. But do they? But do they?
Do they?
I will say, there's actually something really sweet about our first Christmas Wish episode being the person who is kind of already in the podcast family deciding to give their wish to a loved one. That there's something very sweet about that.
That was my gift.
That's all you get this year, Rachel.
Well, I don't have money, and I'm not there, so yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, so what is everyone's connection to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens?
Well, I was Bob Marley once, so...
You were Jacob Marley?
That's a funny story. Actually, Rachel was going to be in A Christmas Carol, and it was far away, and I had to drive her back and forth. And so I told the guy.
It was both far away and parody.
I told the guy who was the director, I said, look, you might as well put me in this play because I'm going to have to wait around. I'm not going to drive home and come back. So you might as well put me in the play. So I ended up playing Bob Marley. Jacob Marley. That's actually a joke from the movie, of course. Yeah, so I played Jacob Marley. I've always been interested in the Christmas Carol, not only the specific movies and plays that I've seen throughout the years, but also the various configurations that people have created as an homage to it. For instance, Mickey's Christmas Carol, the Muppet Christmas Carol, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, which I read recently, they said was one of the best. Go figure.
And razzleberry dressing.
There was a episode of The Odd Couple that had a version of the Christmas Carol where Oscar was Ebenezer Madison. And of course, one of our favorites was the Quantum Leap episode that somehow married Guys and Dolls and A Christmas Carol together into a single episode.
Fascinating.
That is fascinating.
Of course, you forget the Family Ties episode where the only place open was, I think, 7-Eleven, and he had to get cough syrup for his brother from 7-Eleven for the gifts.
Let's not forget the year you received a VHS of the Back to the Future cartoon and Ebenezer Tannen.
Oh, yes, of course. Of course.
I can talk about Back to the Future on this podcast. Charlotte, this is already an excellent Christmas gift. Thank you so much.
So I had a script writing professor in college, and he said that there was something called a pivotal crisis. And he said basically there's only a few stories, actually, and everything else is a reworking of the stories. So some of them are from the Bible. You get a couple from O. Henry, obviously A Christmas Carol, and everything else is just somehow a reworking of those plots.
I have a connection to Christmas Carol because I was in the play with Dad. So, actually, I was in the play with Dad, and I also saw Charlie in the play.
That's correct. I was the boy who brings the turkey when I was 12 years old. Rachel and I lamented that we both got to be in A Christmas Carol, but never together. So I did go scouring the internet for someone holding Christmas Carol auditions and sent it to her. But then I didn't audition in time.
I got this all mixed up. I had been in the radio play the year before, and you said,
got the radio play because I sent you the auditions because we were supposed to audition together.
No, that was the next year. I was already in it the year before.
I was
find a way to get them together in a Christmas Carol for IER Presents.
The year you were in it, I was supposed to audition, but didn't get my audition in time.
No. That's not what happened. No. That's not what happened. First, I was in the first year. That year, we were allowed to do it without accents. That was better. Then the second year, you said
I got cast as Scrooge.
Right.
And then they never finished it. They never edited that one. So.
Yep.
But the first year, I was supposed to be in it and then didn't get to. That is true. I promise. So speaking of Quantum Leap, here we are setting right what once went wrong. Because all three of us are here to talk about not A Christmas Carol, but Carol's Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yes, so I had never even heard of this movie. But, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, little Jasmine was utterly obsessed with A Christmas Carol for some reason. She watched the Muppet versions, she watched the Mickey's version, she watched the Flintstones version, she watched multiple Looney Tunes versions, and she even watched All Dogs Go to Heaven. So imagine my surprise when Charlotte first brought up this particular movie that I had never heard of when I even know about A Diva's Christmas Carol, for God's sake. And I was rather intrigued by the twist that the ghosts supposedly got the wrong house, and that this version of A Christmas Carol landed us with 2 redemption arcs for the price of 1.
We were talking about earlier about George Bailey, so Alan is a bit of a jerk as well. And Alan believes that he's a jerk because incidents and situations have conspired against him. But it's actually that he's allowed his jerkiness to rise to the top, where he somehow venerates it and honors it as the real him. It affects his ability to work in greeting card industry because even his cards now are jerky.
You're nervous because you're in a little slump now, but you got to put aside this thing you have with Christmas. All right, so some bad stuff happened a few Christmases ago. 4, but who's counting? I know it's rough for you, but since the entire line of next year's cards is approved at Christmas, it's a pretty lousy time for it. Hang on one sec. Couldn't you have picked something like, say, Arbor Day to have a thing with?
Arbor Day has never gotten the respect that it deserves. And as we all know, everyone buys greeting cards for planned expected events, birthdays, anniversaries, and so on. That market is saturated. What we're trying to do here is to create a new line, one for unexpected events. I call it On the Brighter Side. Congratulations to the proud graduate. A degree means more when it's earned in prison. Congratulations on a mostly successful vasectomy. And congratulations on the birth of the triplets.
Every jerk thinks they're a victim of circumstance, and we do have to wonder if Christmas Carol is part of what caused that.
Possibly even Charles Dickens may have examined himself to think, am I a jerk?
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
You can guest on the podcast if you want, but you gotta come into the room. We talked about that's what Grinch was about. Grinch was autobiographical. Dr. Seuss was 53 years old at the time. For 53 years I've put up with now, and because he was wealthy from his books, was living in a big house overlooking the city, which was very quiet except at Christmas time. And then he had the thought when he was getting annoyed with all the noise, like, am I becoming Ebenezer? And that's how The Grinch Stole Christmas is about.
So what happens next in the story?
Well, he gets in a riff with his neighbor, who's really Wallace Shawn, who many people have said look like you. I'm not sure why they say that, but he definitely looks like he could be related to you.
I look less like him now than I used to, which is very fun.
That is true. I think a couple of your brothers look a little more like Wallace Shawn than you do. But
and his character's name is Zebediah Rosecog.
Yes.
It's a miracle it took him this long to become a jerk, to be honest, with a name like that, if you ask me.
Rosecog being an anagram of Scrooge.
That's exactly correct.
We had a dog named Rosie that we almost exclusively nicknamed Rosecog.
Oh.
Because of this film. And all of us, I've told this to Jazz, all of me and my siblings have perfect Wallace Shawn impressions. I have made a lot of money doing it, actually, through the Incredibles real-time fandom. And that was learned to tease you, because people always approach you at parties and tell you look like Wallace Shawn. And
Inconceivable.
it is inconceivable that you might look like Wallace Shawn. That is true. I think that is what that word means. And we also, I don't remember the full context, but one year for Pie Night, someone sent the group chat rewrite of I'll Be Home. Pie Night being when the Marlowes gathered the day before Thanksgiving to make the pies for Thanksgiving. Someone sent a rewrite of I'll Be Home for Christmas called I'll Be Home for Pie Night. I think it was Dad, and it specified it had to be sung in a Wallace Shawn impression.
Well, that is a big part of the movie, but the true story behind where that all came from originally was that I actually did drive through a blinding snowstorm and reached the bottom of Emily's Street, but I couldn't drive up the street because there was so much snow.
And I was out there with shovels, and we heard a car, and we look down the driveway, and we said, we think that might be Dad. It can't be Dad. And
the door of the car flew open, and this old man stepped out of the car and sang, I'll be home for Pie Night. And that is an actual true story. That is not part of the script. That really happened.
Dear listeners, what they've just described is a very clear parody of a scene that does happen in this movie. I'll Be Home for Christmas is a recurring motif in this film.
That's exactly correct. It starts out as a joyous thing, then it becomes a really sad thing, and in the end, it becomes a revelation.
A 3-act structure with reprises of one song.
I feel so bad for his character, because in the past, people could get away with not going to work and staying home with their family. Now, if you do that, you get evicted. So they have to go to work.
The wealth gap is much larger than it was in Dickens' time. This is factually provable.
Crazy.
Right. So I always felt bad for him because he was just trying to make some money for his family. They could have made some time around the things that he had to do. But he did get too caught up, but still, you know what I mean? They could also bend kind of around what he needed to do and help him.
And actually, you make a really good point, is, everyone kind of knocks people who work so hard to support their family, but they just don't know any other way. And they think if they stop even for a minute, they're just not going to succeed. Now, but it does come from an earlier in the actual Christmas Carol where Scrooge became so obsessed with the idea of making money that everything else fell behind and it was no longer important to him. And that was how come, he lost the love of his life, because she realized that he was never going to have a family and never care about anything but the money. And so that's a slightly different thing.
It's different, right, than Rosecud. I think he always cared about his family. He just was always a little too late because he got stuck at work or whatever.
Can we really call that his fault 100%? He's not his own boss.
That was him being a victim of circumstance, honestly. And while I definitely understand why his daughter was just so heartbroken that she couldn't even look at him, it's just one of those things where it's just like, this was just a tragedy. Like,
Wallace Shawn's performance is so good in this film. It brings the tears.
She could have cut him some slack, She could have understood that he was trying to help them, I mean,
that's addressed in the movie because the grandchild says, but also we never visit him.
Yeah, she did say that, and it is in the movie. It is in the movie. Yeah. He never comes to see us, but we never come to see him either, I am personally an example of that, where I ended up having to work 50, 70 hours a week on my jobs. And it wasn't because I liked doing that. It was because once I took those jobs, they became successful. And when they became successful, there was more work, When your company isn't successful, you can go home on time.
I remember a childhood of Dad usually getting home 7, 8 p.m. But he was always like, to him, parenting was his reward for getting home from a long day of work. Like, I've always said it's more of a hobby for him. And Dad
would always be away on tours or whatever, but he would take us. If there was something he could take us to, he would always take us there.
That's right. Was that one?
That's a way that you could, I'm kind of like...
But I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking, when I took you to Roseland Ballroom for that British television show, do you think you missed anything in school that day that was more important than that? Probably not. No, probably not.
There is a key piece of common knowledge that every adult other than Rachel has because of that.
Yeah, it's right.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's like it was 4 times 7 divided by 3 over 11, and she doesn't know it.
When in elementary school, we had to learn to map all the different counties of New Jersey, and I was having a lot of trouble with it, possibly because of dyscalculia. And I missed the day we took the test. And when I got back to school the next day, I was so terrified. They'd be like, you missed the test, here, take it again. And they forgot. And each day of school, I'm like, one day they're going to remember. And I got to be honest, I still have nightmares that one day they're going to be like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I was your teacher in 4th grade. We were just looking back at
I never actually finished my 12th grade gym class. Gym was mandatory in New Jersey at the time.
But you've lived a life as Jim, so shouldn't that count for some credit?
Well, I know the reason was that I got a B in the first 2 marking periods or 4 marking periods. So even a B and an F would average to a D, and that would have meant I passed. But I just stopped going to gym and just went to the cafeteria because it was first period. And they served breakfast there. That was the only year they did that. But I'm just going with breakfast.
This was
am I supposed to say this on
Please,
that's so funny because one time we hypnotized you and that's what you told us.
Oh, I already told you this? Okay, so then we're
Wait, hold on. I need to hear this story now.
Well, but the reason is because this is what they say is that, and this gets back to the whole idea of the ghost visiting you at night, but that all these things continue to plague you throughout your life. And you subconsciously, when you dream that you never finish school and you're running around looking for what class you're supposed to be in, is because there are unfinished things in your mind.
I made that up just because Emily and I were practicing hypnotizing. We learned that I can't, but it was true.
Sounds like a good story to make up, but it is actually a true story. And I was visited by the ghost of my English teacher once. And I've seen the light. I actually started working out again because of it,
You were saved, changed, and redeemed by the spirit of gym class.
Yeah.
Did you have a former coworker who warned you that your teacher was coming?
Absolutely. My coworker's name was Jock Strap.
You did have a coworker named Jesus Bones once.
I did know a person named Jesus Bones. Does that somehow connect to this? What we're talking?
Nothing. No, I just.
No, I know. I know.
Anywhere in the story, we're still on the bus, which is the first.
So let's go back to the story. Okay, so here's the biggest part of the story that I think is significant is that he had a horrible experience with his girlfriend and had something to do with the caribou, and they ended up breaking up in front of everybody on the big screen at a sporting event.
This is why you don't do public proposals, especially not as a surprise.
Yeah, but he did it again.
Yeah, the movie rewards him for it.
He repeated the mistake, but part of it is that although his current girlfriend was really into him,
like disproportionately so,
he still had that whole anxiety of the situation that had happened before, so he wasn't really ready to commit or even be a good boyfriend or husband or anything else, because
he kept her at a distance and kind of used his feud with his neighbor Rosecog as almost an excuse.
Enough of a distance, and she wanted it all. She was going to give him a ring, and then the night before Christmas, she's dressed up sexy and stuff, and all he can think about is
Zebediah Rosecog,
who's stealing his Christmas lights to plug in his snowblower.
Free extension cord right there. But yeah, no, she has to storm out of the house.
He stole the hat and the scarf off of the snowman, and
yeah, because his daughter won't talk to him, so nobody else will give him any resources.
Wait, can you say the line, Rachel, when he's accused of this? What does Zeb respond?
I found it on a pile of snow.
Sure you did, Zeb.
We have so many familial vocal stems from this movie.
So then he's visited by the ghost of Bob Marley, who's not Jacob Marley, but
No, Jacob Marley, who is named after his great-great-great-great-grandfather, but he is like the cousin or something.
Right. He's not really Bob Marley, but he's Bob Marley's cousin, and he's a Rastafarian. And he's actually at the wrong address. And why, Rachel?
I've always been making my fives kind of like sixes ever since I was a youth.
Ever since he was a youth.
Then whenever anyone writes a number incorrectly, we make that joke. And like, Dad has dysgraphia, I have dyscalculia, so that comes up a lot.
Oh, no.
Well, and as I already mentioned earlier, Rachel can recite this entire movie by heart. Yeah. She can tell you every line.
That is beautiful, I gotta say. Like,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I had never even heard of this until Charlotte mentioned it, to be honest. I'd never even heard of it. I was just like, okay, this is a kind of a gonzo premise. I was intrigued. And, I watched it last night, and I'll admit, I told Charlotte this after having watched Pride and Prejudice and Mistletoe. My standards were definitely bottomed out just a little bit, but all the same, like...
Was Pride and Prejudice and Mistletoe that bad?
It is the new worst thing we've ever covered.
Actually, Carol's Christmas, when they watched it all those times, I never saw it. I heard them quote it. I saw little clips of it sometime when they were watching it, but I never watched the whole thing.
Yes, Dad, you couldn't have possibly watched it because we were staying up all night.
You knew what voice I'll Be Home for Pie Night needed to be sung in.
And I saw that clip. I actually saw that. They showed me that clip, but I never saw the whole thing. And so when I found out we were doing this, I watched it, and I was actually pretty impressed that it was as good as it was. I think the writing was very good.
There's actual effort put into this TV movie, and that is rare.
The actors chosen are amazing. The Ghost of Christmas Past is played by, what was his name? Larry
Miller.
Larry Miller,
yes.
XR,
He's
Buzz Lightyear of Star Command.
Barry Friedman, he was a Borscht Belt comic up in the Catskills. And he's Jewish, and he doesn't know how he got to be the Ghost of Christmas Past or whatever.
Well, it's a punishment. He did something to land him in hell, so he's forced to celebrate Christmas every year. But it is the only time he gets to sit.
And Vernon Troyer, isn't that his name?
Vern Troy, who famously, when...
Mini-Me.
When Mike Myers wrote the second Austin Powers film, he said Mini-Me was supposed to just be a prop, not a character. But he said Vern Troyer was so funny that he kept cutting reaction shots. He kept adding more things for him to do, to the point where when he made The Love Guru, it was written for a vehicle for him and Vern to star in together. Like, he is, by the word of Mike Myers, a comedic genius. No longer with us, because it's hard to exist when your spine can't grow. It's very difficult.
Yes, and he plays Spike, the Ghost of Christmas Future. He's the crew chief of the entire crew.
Right, he's their boss.
He's the boss, yeah.
He was very funny in this, yes.
The Ghost of Christmas Present/Presents, who arrives early because there was a scheduling thing. What's the actress's name? Do we know that?
We do. I could pull it up on Letterboxd, but
All good.
like I'll admit, as she was fun, but also that her portion of it where she was just refusing to listen to him and see reason that no, you got the quote unquote wrong guy, even though obviously we know
She was
that
lying.
no, he needed this too.
They needed the stoner in the dits to come first for this lie to work.
She was an apprentice.
Yeah, she was an intern. She wasn't even getting paid. I can't believe even ghosts have to deal with that. Her name is
She's
Alana
so
Ubach.
funny, though.
What's the name of the character? The actor?
Alana Ubach.
She was funny.
This wasn't the only TV Christmas Carol that we watched. Don't forget, there's also Diva's Christmas Carol.
I know. I was gonna say
That one's great. That one is really good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Nia if we could watch it because I was in the mood after watching this. I want to go back to all our traditions.
Aww.
Was that Vanessa Williams?
It
Yes,
was,
it
yeah.
She was excellent.
You've seen that one, Jazz. Jazz has an absurd amount of overlapping interests. Jazz is roughly my age and from Long Island, so like grew up and had family in theater, so grew up in a very similar environment. That was why I was in that Shakespeare production a few months ago. Was Jazz got me involved with that theater company?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Very shortly after Charlotte and I met, she asked me, "Are you sure we weren't made in the same lab or something?"
Right. So welcome. I mean, by inviting all three of you here today, I am making you an honorary Marlowe.
Aww, I'm so honored.
Welcome to the family, yes.
Marlowes are sort of like a cult. If you want to be a Marlowe, you can be, but there are rituals involved.
We'll talk about that later. I am still
Fun
honored.
rituals.
What a lovely Christmas present. But no, and one of our overlapping interests is A Christmas Carol. Like,
it's truly like a perfect novella. I saw a TikTok like saying, I know you've seen adaptations. If you haven't read the original novella, read it. And a comment who was just like speaking sarcastically with hyperbole to how great this story is says, I don't know, I only watch sci-fi and horror. Is there any time travel or ghosts in it?
Yes.
Truthfully, Christmas Carol predates The Time Machine. The only instances of time travel stories prior to Christmas Carol are in theology. This is the first time someone sat down to write an explicitly fictional story about time travel. Charles Dickens. So like you said, your professor said every story is Christmas Carol or this or that, right after we mentioned Ebif Nisa Tannen. Back to the Future 2 especially, because he's going to his own past, is a Christmas Carol. But also the fact that there's time travel is at all we can credit to Dickens.
So getting back to the movie, Alan is then shown Zeb Rosecog's life and not his own, although at some point he does see some of his own. But he sees Zeb Rosecog's life and he begins to understand how Zeb Rosecog ended up the way he did.
it's really part of what made this movie work for me, because I had, like I said, I've seen so many Christmas carols, but this was really the first time I'd seen someone use the formula to make someone else understand the Scrooge figure.
Exactly.
So wait, Zeb Rosecog's daughter was born on Christmas, his wife died on Christmas, and he will die on Christmas on his daughter's birthday / wife's death.
Well, that's the
Okay,
bad
so-
timeline.
Yeah, that's
I will-
the alternate timeline, Char. They stopped that timeline.
But still, his wife, her mom did die on her birthday.
Yeah, died on her birthday. That's crazy. No wonder she was so upset.
And Alan Carroll only proposes to people on Christmas.
Speaking of Back to the Future with the recurring date.
Yes.
We should have learned.
One thing I will say, the wig that they use to make Wallace Shawn look younger is horrible. It's terrible.
Well, I do want to point out that when I used to own a bunch of wigs for like video production and cosplays.
It's like that. He reached in the closet and found the cheapest wig he could find. He threw it on his head. Now I'm a young guy,
But we had made the joke before that I had these wigs that looked great on me. No one questioned were my hair in videos. And the second we put them on you, you'd look ridiculous. So maybe there's just a certain face shape that doesn't work with most wigs.
Well, you have to see the one of me as Abraham Lincoln.
As Abraham Lincoln, we called it, because your hair made you look like...
I look pretty good, yeah. Yeah, I look like Abraham Lincoln, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I will show you. That's a music video we did for a song. My dad wanted to write the President's Day song, since no one else had.
Okay, so all that happens. He sees Rose Cog's life, but now he steals the remote thing. It's a universe remote, they call it. And he goes back accidentally to the year that he proposed to his girlfriend. And he's dressed as a caribou. And they're skating around on the ice at a hockey game, I guess it is. And he goes to propose to her. And she says, yeah, I'm not going to show you doing stupid stuff like this. And besides, I'm seeing someone else. She points over to the horse that is skating around on the ice.
Yes.
The donkey, whatever. And they say, which end? And the guy sticks his head out of the donkey's butt.
The ass's ass, if you will.
Yes. And so, meanwhile, the guy who's showing him, which is the comedian guy, is dying laughing. He just can't stop laughing. Even when they switch to the next reality, he's still laughing about it.
Oh, so good. I love Larry Miller. I've always loved Larry Miller.
Pure tragic comedy.
I was obsessed with XR, you recall, Dad, when you used to put on a show for me in the morning.
That's a good one, too, yes.
I told the story before we recorded, so the viewers will be in the dark.
There you go.
But, yeah, he also, just the way he's very professional about it, the way he uses the universal remote in a way that's more like a control pad when everyone else is using it like a remote, and the, like, New York accent, even though Larry Miller is Jewish instead of Italian. He reminds me so much of Admiral Al Calavici. Like, he's like, all right, 1994, this is when... I'm like... I wonder if that was part of what stuck with us about this movie. It is a little Quantum Leapy.
It's very much Quantum Leapy. And especially since, of course, I already mentioned Quantum Leap also did their version of the Christmas Carol. Dean Stockwell, he's like going, woo, woo, like trying to make scary ghost noises.
Which is also in this. We have the sheet ghost after when Alan keeps breaking into Rose Cox's house.
That's right, yes. Because they've broken the remote, but they still have to show him that his life can be better.
But did they really break the remote?
Was it all part of the plan? That's the question, isn't it?
I think it all goes according to plan.
And, you know, we talked about how Alan Karroll sees himself as a victim of circumstance, and so much of that is just, I hate my neighbor Zeb. And so, like, it is helping him. It is the exact problem he's facing to show him how Zebediah Rosecock got like this and why he's on the same path. Like,
exactly. Like that plot thread is actually so smart. It is so hard to do a new thing on A Christmas Carol, so I really do gotta commend the screenwriters of this particular movie. Like, I'm not gonna pretend it's a great movie. I'm not even sure if I can even fully say it's good, but I was charmed and I was entertained. And what more can I ask?
There's a lot of entertainment. There's more humor, obviously, than most, you know. The humor part is pretty good. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, they stuffed it with quips.
Yeah, it seems that they got, like, the funniest actors they could to play the ghost especially. Here's where I am. Since I no longer live with these people and no longer have to stay up late watching movies, when I watch a Christmas movie, it's always the really, really, really good ones. And it doesn't make me feel like it's Christmas because I don't got the 25 Days of Christmas on ABC. I need some of the made-for-TV movies or it's just not Christmas to me. And that's what I realized rewatching this last night. I was so happy.
Oh, it really gave you a new appreciation for this.
And I think I need to start, like, we can watch the best Rankin Bass movies. We can watch Elf and this and that, but I think I need to start throwing in these TV movies, Hallmark movies, etc. into the mix for it to really feel like Christmas for me.
Guess which movie I saw yesterday?
I can't guess!
Merry Xmas? That's what I saw.
Miracle on 34th Street, the original.
I saw it on Thanksgiving. I always do.
Actually, I haven't watched it with Nia yet. We should watch it.
It was very funny because there was a question on one of the things on Facebook, one of the groups. So what is the best courtroom movie? And they're all like, 12 Angry Men, this and that. Everyone's listed all this stuff like that. And I go, Miracle on 34th Street, of course.
I think you might be right, honestly, because I actually talked about it last year on my friend Ellie's podcast, Biggest Night in Podcasting. And I watched it when I was younger. But if anything, I think it holds up even better as an adult because you're getting all of the subtext about, you know, how capitalism works and stuff and all the courtroom drama.
Well, yeah, you got the courtroom, you have the capitalism, you have her being and this was very modern at the time. It was like 1934 or something like that. But she's the modern woman, the working woman, supporting a single mother, supporting her daughter in a man's world and succeeding because she's aggressive and she's no nonsense. So Christmas, of course, becomes nonsense, you know?
One of the first thing Jazz messaged me during her watch of Carol's Christmas was, I am really happy to see that they did a woman proposing marriage to a man in 2004. Like, that was a little...
I was shocked.
Well,
and also,
Alan Carroll was all over the place. He was never going to get it together.
If she had waited for him, it wasn't going to happen.
Most of the time, women are the ones doing all the labor in making Christmas. So I was just like, oh my God, is this more feminist than the literal Pride and Prejudice movie I just watched? Which Charlotte had even said in a previous episode how Pride and Prejudice feels like revisionist history trying to make the past more feminism. But no, it's just from the past. That's
this was written at the time that it was taking place by a woman, and it does not feel like that. I loved Pride and Prejudice. I watched it for this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Don't watch Pride and Prejudice and Mistletoe. It'll hurt you.
I won't. I will take your recommendation. I'm surprised it was that bad.
It's just so boring. It's so boring, Charlotte.
That's the worst thing a movie could be.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I'm saying.
Your film professor also told you to watch as many bad movies as possible, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly true. He said that it's easier to detect the technical aspects of a movie when you're not interested in the character or the plot or whatever that's catching your attention, and you just forget everything else. You're like, oh, this is so funny, or this is...
One time, Grandma told me she saw a movie, and the most interesting thing in it was a red flower. I still never to this day found out what that movie is.
Huh.
She will never tell us. She never told us every single detail of the story, and I don't think she wanted to.
I said, what movie was it, Grandma? And she said that one with the red flower.
Ma'am, Miss Ghost of Charlotte's grandmother? There's a lot of movies with red flowers.
Give us an impersonation of Grandma saying the movie had a red flower.
No, I'm going to do one. Oh, I'm going to do a related but different one.
Okay, very good.
They took it off. They don't play it anymore. It went, that boy is much too much. That boy is much too much. He's got the spirit. The spirit. So what did we naturally ask, Rachel? What was our next question?
Grandma, what was it a commercial for?
I don't remember.
But Charlie, I seriously Googled it, and the reason she doesn't remember is because it was a commercial for having fathers involved in your life.
Oh, yeah. She was not speaking of feminist,
right?
She was not a big fan of men, that's for sure.
No,
Grandma was such a character.
We already did the Grandma Story podcast last year. Hi, Jackie.
Yes. Yes, that I am still very fond of that episode.
We did How the Grunkle Stole Hanukkah for Hanukkah, and I was like, do you want to hear some stories about the voice actor of Bernie, the ever-burning?
Yes.
Told the Gorilla Glue one. Jazz laughed as hard as we did, except no one was there yelling at her for laughing.
God.
That is really
If you don't want us to laugh, don't tell the funniest story of all time. Like...
Anyway, one thing I also really liked about this is how they actually have the ghosts do things to actually more traditionally scare people instead of just giving you existential dread about your life. Like
some Beetlejuicy moments. I will say that once.
Oh my God, you're right. There really were some Beetlejuicy moments. Oh dear. Okay. Don't say it again.
Oh, what they cut them in half or something at some point or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was actually really interesting. I kind of like how the ghosts and Karroll actually started becoming like almost a found family. Like I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like
that was his people, and in the end too. Yeah, they're all like, yeah, that's true. They were his people after a while.
And Spike's like, hey, I don't hug. Come here.
Yeah, and he said he was really gonna miss him. I was just like, oh.
And I'll miss you most of all. It's a little
Wizard of Oz
Christmas Carol.
Well, Wizard of Oz. Speaking of Wizard of Oz.
I've told the story also that the reason I keep guessing on all these Oz episodes is because that was a love that Rachel brought to me.
Yeah.
I asked her before we recorded a Return to Oz episode, which is, by the way, one of our most viewed episodes. I asked Rachel, like, when did this phase start? Like, what was it about? And Rachel was just like, no start, eternal. Like,
you just came out like that.
I just love children's literature. So
Aw.
Oz is one of the biggest collections of children's literature of all time.
It's the most influential one. It's the reason why all children's literature have sequels. Like,
Yeah, someone said something recently to me about something when they said it was pretty obvious all of a sudden when they said it. I'm like, I should have thought of that with my brain. I should have felt it in my heart. And they were like,
Is that why we're speaking of the Wizard of Oz? What was speaking of the Wizard of Oz?
it doesn't matter that much. Whatever. It's podcasting.
We were kind
what
of.
we
We were.
Because I was just thinking about Wicked and how the same tie-in that not everybody.
I said that saying goodbye to the ghosts and talking about how much he would miss them is not.
I would miss you most of all. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yes,
And
I said that
honestly-
was a scene from Wizard of Oz inserted into Christmas Carol. Is what I said.
So I inserted a little too.
Yeah, and honestly, another thing this kind of reminded me of was one of the Psych Christmas episodes. I don't know if you guys ever watched Psych.
Oh yes, we watched Psych.
Of course
We
you
are a
did.
Psych family.
A lot of listeners know that I am currently working on a murder mystery audio drama. I did not introduce my love of murder mysteries to myself. That was these two weirdos. Rachel would watch so many murder mysteries that she would get scared and stand around the house holding scissors at all times.
Oh, you were ready for your final girl moment.
You see, I was thinking, suppose you were the murderer.
Thank you, Lieutenant Dan Colombo.
But like the reason I'm specifically thinking of the one where they were doing an It's a Wonderful Life riff, because that is also a Christmas special that referenced the Wizard of Oz. Like Sean specifically said, I think I'll miss you most of all to, I think it was the Gus Snowman?
Oh, brown snowman, Gus. I think I'll miss you most of all.
We gotta cover that one day. We gotta cover that one day.
They always throw that line in everywhere you hear that.
It's a good line.
We were more of a monk family, but they played Psych afterwards, and we would keep the TV on.
My mom was more of a monk person. I was more of a Psych person. I also like the use of greeting cards for this was really interesting, because it's kind of one of those things where you don't really think too much about that in movies, but it's kind of making the point that while yes, it could just be a trifle you shove in a box in a closet somewhere, it can also be just one way to show you care. And one thing Karroll does need to learn is you need to show that you care. You need to be vulnerable. You can't just have a snarky quip for everything. You actually have to be honest with people.
And everyone tries to like bring down secular Christmas and say it's just a greeting card holiday. Mm-hmm. And this movie posits the only greeting cards that sell well are written by people who mean it.
Yeah.
The other cool thing I liked was that the way he revived his career was by using this stuff in the box from Zeb Rosecog and going retro and recapturing that vibe that people really do still love about
Christmas is long, long ago.
Yeah, well, yeah, think of like sleigh riding, riding on sleds or snowball fights and other just things, wreaths and the smell of food cooking and things like that. And Christmas bells, yes, indeed, of course.
Christmas
but that was a good
Christmas bells.
But that was a good twist in the end, that he just resurrected these old cards, and suddenly that's what everybody wanted.
Oh, it's almost like he needed Zeb Rosecog all along.
Yeah, no, and they worked together to improve each other's lives, which was really sweet.
Yes, and then he came to the door of his daughter's house, and he sang, I'll be
home
for Christmas.
As if Josh Groban didn't already make me want to cry every time I heard that song.
I did cry when I saw that scene. I got a little choked up.
If you recall from Jingle All the Way, there's a bit where they're talking about like if he wants Turbo Man, and he's like, "Are you kidding? I got my dad," So you cried when you saw that in a movie. We got to witness it IRL once.
My favorite line from Jingle All the Way, though, is from working is him on the phone with his customer. Thank you. You're my favorite customer. Thank you. You're my favorite customer. Because it's such BS.
Did I expect to talk about Jingle All the Way on my Christmas episode? Not even remotely.
You never know.
I'm just saying.
Wizard of Oz, Jingle All the Way. What else would we do? It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
We got everything here.
What else have we covered on this?
Does anyone want to bring up any other unrelated books or movies or TV shows?
This episode has everything.
That's right. Something for everyone. You wanted to talk about some Christmas things that we did. The movies were one of them.
When we were prepping for this episode, Rachel messaged me, we did it right. And I said, what? And she said, tradition. There's a little fiddler for you. We had so many. There was peppermint ice cream, I recall.
Ooh, yum.
What was that? That was a Christmas Eve thing, or was that?
Christmas Eve.
That was Christmas Eve. You could also have eggnog ice cream, which was also good.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
When did we start adding karaoke in?
It was later.
Post YouTube, I guess?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, it was the storybooks. And the funny thing is, we still read those same little kids' storybooks.
Yeah.
The Christmas tree that grew.
The puppy who wanted a boy.
Puppy who wanted a boy for Christmas. Christmas at the Museum of the Dinosaurs.
Something about the dinosaurs. They have a whole series.
And we have all our own little traditions and inside jokes and like Rocky Horror style rituals while we read these books. Like the Christmas tree that grew, the family's last name is Adam. So every time they say the Adam family, we go.
Of course.
I was thinking about this, and when you get back to these stories and the movies and everything else, it's a way of codifying, memories, in a way of creating a way that you can recall them every year. You watch the same movie, or you read the same book, or you listen to the same song, and somehow then you're in tune with that moment that made you like Christmas or like that movie or whatever in the first place,
And that's why I let Rachel pick what my wish episode was, because this is the way to celebrate Christmas for me, is to continue these old traditions. That's all Christmas is, really. And I think about your decision, Dad, to not raise us teaching us about Catholicism, but still go all in on the Santa stuff. And what I think that is I think the joy at others' happiness is real. And whatever you want to say about Christmas as a holiday, you can, sure. Santa's suit is red and white because of the Coca-Cola logo. Fine. Capitalism is involved in some ways. But all of these movies that are made as corporate products to fill airspace try in their own way the best the writer can to preach that message that doing nice things for others and feeling good about it is something worth celebrating. And that is why every culture in the world tries to hold some kind of gathering of and merrymaking on the shortest day of the year, because seasonal affective disorder sucks. And that's why we have, Yule / solstice. Christmas is like solstice. The Christians and the pagans sit together at the table.
In a while. Christians and
pagans sit together at the table, finding faith in common. There's Hanukkah, although didn't used to be a holiday that anyone cared about, but it's still a thing that people do and makes them happy. There's in Russia, since they don't believe in these secular traditions being involved in holidays, they exchange gifts at New Year's Eve. And so I went to a couple Russian New Year's Eve, and they're a blast. They are 100% just the Christmas we had, and I'm glad that you recognize, even though you didn't want to teach us who Jesus was and what praying is. You wanted us to not get too down about seasonal affective disorder. We did not have a lot of money growing up, but I had the best toys on the. What?
Was that the Who?
That was the Who, yeah.
Editor Jasmine here. Today I learned that the Who was the one who wrote Tommy Doesn't Know What Day It Is. My God. I first heard it on Leslie Odom Jr.'s Christmas album. What the hell?
We did not have a lot of money growing up, but I always got the best toys the year they came out, and now I know that's because my father willingly went into credit card debt to do that for me.
Oh my God.
So this is interesting, but I learned about and I always knew it, of course, but the concept of it's better to give than to receive. And I learned that from Rachel, because Rachel always took such great joy in giving presents.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
No, she liked getting them too, but she just, of all the people I ever met, it just was such an important thing to her to be able to give people presents.
The year that Robin Williams died, Rachel gave me a couple of DVDs of his movies with a receipt of having donated to Zelda Williams charity.
Oh, yeah, I did. I did do that.
You're good. You're good.
The year that I was in law school, my first year in law school, I didn't have any money, but I won 900 LexisNexis points. And you could go on the LexisNexis store and select all the gifts for people. And that's where I got all my gifts that year.
Mm-hmm.
No, I look around, my house here, and I see stuff that my kids have given me or stuff they made. I've got a giant ceramic thing that Emily made, and I have a couple of Rachel's original artworks here. And
yeah, you used to host an event every weekend on Facebook called The Saloon, where people were allowed to comment and pretend they were ordering a drink just as an excuse to talk to you. And one day I asked you what your favorite movie was, and you sat and thought about it, and you decided it was Casablanca. So you do have a sign in your house that says, read it to me. Do you want to do a bogey impression, Dad? You going to do a bogey impression while you read it?
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in the world, she walks into mine.
Hell yeah.
And I also regularly think about when you had a really bad ant infestation in Shrub Oak, and I got a Gargamel out of a Kinder egg, when I went to Portugal, and I gave it to you and said, this will help deal with that Smurf infestation.
Smurf infestation, yes.
Do you still have Gargamel, or did he not survive all these?
I don't know. Well, the good news is when I moved here, I had a garage. It came with a garage. So a lot of stuff is still in boxes in the garage that I never unpacked, and it's nice because I have a less cluttered life now.
Likewise.
And for those who don't know it, which would be Jasmine, I live on a horse farm.
Okay.
So I have horses out my window and stuff like that, yes.
I have cows, and they are outstanding in their field.
Are they vacas?
You're right, I have vacas. Excuse me.
Vacas.
Excuse my English.
I had some vodka last night at a Bloody Mary. It was pretty good.
That's vodka.
But seriously, folks.
A funny thing happened on the way here.
I arrived safely. Dun-dun-dun.
Whenever I got into my dad's car, every single time, he would tell me the old Groucho Marx joke. Do you believe in the hereafter? Then hereafter, get in the car. It was never funny to me. And I've told him that once. And I'm like, does that mean you're going to stop saying it? And he's like, no!
It was actually Milton Berle, Uncle Milty.
Sorry for misattributing Uncle
Speaking
Milty.
of Borscht Belt comics,
Right. From Keenan and Kel, two heads of done. Every time I would be trying to locate something like that, Dad, I can't find the remote to the TV. Have you seen it? Dad would always go, oh, I sold it to some kids. So now I say that to my wife every time, and she has not yet laughed. And I was like, I'm not going to stop. I have to keep up.
One day you will laugh. One day you will laugh. Yes.
One day I will not be here, and you will misplace something. And no one will say to you that they sold it to kids, and that is when you'll get it. Because getting is good. My dad...
Also, what happens is you end up saying it to other people. When the kids were growing up, I would say, do the right thing on purpose, not the wrong thing by accident. And they hate it when I said that. They hate it.
That was your mom.
Now Emily says it. Emily says it to her kids all the time.
That was your mom's catchphrase.
All the time too, because I realize it doesn't actually mean do the right thing on purpose, more not the wrong thing by accident. It means be mindful of the things that you're doing. If you are not mindful, then accidents happen.
Deliberate in your actions, because if you're deliberate in your actions, you're more likely to catch yourself from making a mistake. I was just about to make a mistake.
Was that your mother's catchphrase, right?
No, my mother's catchphrase was, whose fault is that? The funny thing about that one is, I made the other one up by myself, but the funny thing about that one is famous because half the people in Westchester County here say that to people all the time now, and they always say, Joe Gilson, I work with at Corporate AV, one of his clients would have a problem with something that he had told them not to do, and then they did it anyhow, and it didn't work, or something bad happened. Oh, you should have told me that if I did this would happen. And he goes, well, as Jim Marlowe's mother would say, whose fault is that?
Oh,
yeah, no, Ella, my co-writer, is regularly saying to me, disgusting. Like, anytime you see "ugh" in one of my scripts now, it's now Ella who's writing that in.
Disgusting. Yes, of course, I know.
So this is what I was talking about. Tradition is about. I do not regret that I grew up in a household that taught me what joy means and how to experience it, and I never will. And so Carol's Christmas, it's not on Netflix. We had to watch it on YouTube. Prior to that, we had to purchase a bootleg. It's not a culturally, like, in the wider culture. But I don't give a shit about the wider culture. It's Marlowe culture. Dad has never seen that movie prior to this. But Dad knows that, that we've been making our 5s, like 6s ever since I was a youth. You knew to cue Rachel up to say that. So, like...
part of our whole thing every year, of course.
What
was it? What was it on? TNT? What was it on?
A&E.
A&E, Arts and Entertainment. Yes. Rachel was just talking about the Divas Christmas. They don't show that one anymore either, right? I haven't seen that. No.
Well, they don't show anything.
You get that on YouTube too. They have them all on YouTube.
Or archive.org.
Unfortunately, sometimes that sort of thing is media preservation.
Because there's no culture to preserve middle barrel TV Christmas movies right now.
The company I work for, we do work for Jacob Burns Film Center. And they had a film preservationist speaking at one of their meetings that we were doing. And one of the things that they said is really odd and sad is not so much, the old films, they're brittle, they haven't been converted from film to any kind of video format or digital format. But he said even worse than that are the fairly recent movies that are not converted from VHS or even DVD to some kind of digital format because one, not that many people want them or there's just not an interest in them. And he said that a lot of the stuff that you would go to these art type VHS rental places and they would have 11,000 titles or 12,000 titles, and you could find all kinds of stuff there. And he said, now you go to some of these streaming services and maybe they have 6,000 titles or 5,000 titles.
Someone did the math. Someone found the old policy Blockbuster has on the number of films that every store was required to have stocked and then looked up the number of films on Netflix. And it is less. Yeah. There are less films on Netflix than there were, less films and TV shows on Netflix than there were at Blockbuster.
That feels illegal.
Which gets back to what we're talking about these movies. These movies, maybe they're not great movies, but they're meaningful movies. They meant something to somebody at a time when they were watching them. We love Divas Christmas. It was great. I thought that was a really good movie. I worked in the entertainment field, so the fact that they were showing backstage where they're having dinner finally at the end with the crew and everyone's happy finally and everyone's there together. That meant something to me, and it wasn't just it's a cute movie and there's, good singing in it and stuff like that. But, the little glimpse into that life,
And people worked hard on these movies. Even if they aren't the most successful, people did work hard to make these movies happen. Every movie, on to some level, is a miracle. And we really should respect that miracle more.
And some movies are miracles on 34th Street, but you mentioned film preservation and didn't take the opportunity to brag that you helped with the preservation and distribution of the first ever film recorded with sound, Dixon's violin, Dad. So I have to brag for you.
Oh?
Well, it's a true story. Okay, this is a good story. If we're going to get on film preservation, anyhow, let's tell this story pretty quickly. Edison's first experiment with sound film was in 1893, and the then not famous but later famous film director and one of the early pioneers of film, W.K.L. Dickson, was actually playing violin.
Was Edison's photographer? Is his job prior to.
Yeah, and also his engineer, his film engineer.
The person who invented film for him, and then he put his name on it.
He was helping him develop this technology. But so he's playing violin into a large recording horn, and there are two people working there that are trying to dance to the music. So they're two men, which is very interesting in itself. And basically what they were trying to show was that this could be a form of music entertainment, that you could see live music in a movie, but you would hear the music as well. So the interesting part of the story is that the disc, because it wasn't even a platter, it was a disc, I actually, hang on.
Yeah, sure. Show us, please.
a disc.
Cylinder.
I don't think the cylinder, exactly. This one I think is empty, but the cylinder came inside this box here.
Show us Thomas Edison's face on the logo. There you go.
There we go.
There he is.
So the cylinder was spinning on a drum like that, and then the music was synchronized. The film was synchronized to it. The cylinder got lost, so that the film existed and the cylinder existed, but the cylinder was broken. And then years later, they were restoring movies and restoring the audio from these cylinders. And they found the cylinder and they glued it back together, and they were able to read the sound in the grooves. I don't think they actually put a needle to it. They had another way of doing it, like a laser or something like that. And someone was listening to it and said, wait, I think I know what this is. This is the soundtrack for that movie. Now, the movie had also been preserved from a silver nitrate film to a more safe film. And as soon as it was restored, then later became volatile and almost burst into flames. They had to destroy the original print. So luckily, they had just finished and made the safe print in time. Mm-hmm. So then Walter Murch, who won the dual Oscars for sound and editing for The English Patient.
And directed Return to Oz.
Yes, he had done that for The English Patient. And he was able to take the sound from it and the disc, and then the image, and using an Avid editing system was able to sync them up so that they could play it. It's only 17 seconds long, but we showed it at the Edison Museum in HD projection.
In West Orange, New Jersey.
Yes, in June of 2002.
Because you were the HD projection guy. That was your whole personality for a bit.
Thomas Edison, another dude who looks like he could be related to him.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's been remarkable to me how much I look like Christopher Marlowe. Like, when I look up a picture, I'm like,
have you ever heard of the music artist Cameron Marlowe? He's kind of popular in the country scene now. Looks just like you.
Like me?
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
No kidding.
Cameron Marlowe.
Okay, just give me a second. With an E?
Yeah.
I see it. Oh my God.
Wow. Uncanny.
So there we go. Have we finished discussing the movie Carol's Christmas?
We didn't talk about the Tiny Tim character.
There is Tiny Tim.
Oh, yes. That's a good point.
We can't discuss A Christmas Carol without the Tiny Tim character. Go on, then.
After he gets thrown off the bus, a kid rams into him with his sled. He literally
gets thrown off the bus into the kid. The kid does not really run into him. They throw him off the bus and he lands on the kid.
He's mad at the kid. Then another kid throws a snowball at Santa Claus and injures Santa Claus. And everyone assumes it was the kid with the sled, but it wasn't. And Alan had seen it and didn't say anything.
And he got his Christmas present taken away. Was it Barry Bonds rookie?
Yeah, an autographed Barry Bonds collectible card. And at the same time, that was also the people who were the parents of Tiny Tim, which I guess were the Cratchits in this case.
They're literally
were going to be evicted from their home by Zebediah Rosecog.
In the credits, their surname is literally Cratchit.
Ah.
Why does a retired greeting card guy get to evict people?
I'm very confused on that as well.
He slipped on the ice and hurt himself, and then he sued them, and because they couldn't pay the money that he got in the settlement, he was going to be entitled to the title to their house.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, comprendo.
Well, that was a little far stretch, but
yeah.
You got to give him some of those Ebenezer characters, qualities so that he can be hated and loved at the same time, of course.
This is true.
Wait, so does that make Ellen Carroll Fred?
A little bit?
Nephew Fred?
I think Alan Carroll is a Scrooge in the making. I think Scrooge is Marley.
Because the daughter is kind of Fred, because remember they're having the party and Fred says Fred is bad-mouthing Uncle Scrooge, but not bad-mouthing everyone else is bad-mouthing Uncle Scrooge.
Yeah.
And Fred basically says, well, actually his granddaughter would be more like Fred, right? Because she's the one who said, oh, we never invited him. The mother is more like the other people at the party.
It's a mix of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And honestly, you know what? I'll say, I think to a degree, like Carrie plays a similar role in that she's trying to impose on Carol. It's like Christmas could still be good. We could still have a good time.
That's right. His girlfriend is kind of like Fred too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? It's something funny. Carrie Forth.
Oh, Carrie Forth. That's good. I'm glad we finally got an adaptation of Christmas Carol where Fred wears lingerie.
There's
Been a
that.
long time coming.
What Charlie was waiting for.
That's just what I was waiting for. When I watch Muppet Christmas Carol, I'm like, wait, hang on. My wife joined me watching right when Carrie was storming out, and she was like, she wearing lingerie while exiting the house? And I'm like, yeah, something got interrupted.
You think?
A little coitus interruptus.
Rarely is it by the person she was trying to coit.
Coit. Verb. Yes, I know.
Yeah, that's not good management on his part. That's
Nope. Like, wow,
you
dude.
gotta keep up with your coitus management.
How do you fumble the bag that bad?
She's a baddie. Like, pair of
She's
ankles
very
don't
pretty.
open till Christmas. It's close to Christmas enough. Like, he should not have fumbled that.
Yeah. And then he heard Zeb Rosecog outside the window, and he got distracted.
Like, dude, why are you so obsessed with him?
You know, and that's really actually a good point, because that's kind of the world we live in nowadays, is that somehow it's easier to, quantify somebody as being the reason you're not happy, somebody else. It's not my fault I'm not happy. It's someone else's fault.
The internet has gotten us very hyper-focused on people we don't like. It comes up.
And somehow they're ruining your happiness. Your happiness is ruined because of them.
And some of them are. Some of them are intentionally attempting to ruin happiness, like politicians in ways. But it does come up in every conversation in a way it didn't used to.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a conversation with people recently, and what it basically is that you have to capture joy.
Yes.
Joy is not easy. It's not something that is just going to come to you all the time. But when you have an opportunity to get joy, manifest joy, or whatever it is, you should make an effort to do so,
It's a little like doing the right thing on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's a perfect example. Warren, the guy I work with, we're at a bar seeing this band, and the band starts playing Brown Eyed Girl, one of my favorite songs, of course, And, oh, great. And he's like, oh, I hate this song. Well, why? Because everyone plays it. Everyone plays it because it's good.
Don't you remember that I replaced the Happy Birthday song with Brown Eyed Girl?
Yes.
And we also, Dad and I have an inside joke of Brown Eyed Girl. Do you remember when we used to sing Rosh Nash Nosh? One time, my dad used to have to do something, because of my sleep disorders, I would be like passed out before school, and he had to do something weird enough to make me go, what? So one day he just turned on my computer, opened the recording software, and started singing Jingle Bells like Rosh Nish Nish, Rosh Nish Nish, Rosh Nish Nish Nosh Na, and then reversed it and just kept blasting him singing gibberish Jingle Bells backwards
If you play
Rosh
Nish Nish backwards.
Like, stop doing that.
Oh, and if you play it backwards, it's like,
I remember the melody. Cha-chi-cha-cha.
Robin, Charlotte's mother, like, I hate that song.
And so we weren't banned from singing Rosh Nish Nish anymore.
Rosh Nish Nish. Remember when we used to sing Rosh Nish Nish Nish
Nosh Na Shnesh Nesh Nosh Nesh Nish Nosh Na Shnish Nosh Na
Shnish Nosh Na. But yeah, and I actually, that's what this whole discussion was. I said to Warren, I said, look, you have to find ways to capture joy, in your life. You have to, if they're playing a really good song that everyone likes, and there's women up on the dance floor dancing and stuff, you should be enjoying this,
Like, you don't get to control what cards you get, but you do get to control how you play them.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, obviously we're not in a concentration camp, because obviously it's hard to have fun in a concentration camp. It's hard to enjoy yourself if somebody's shooting at you. It's hard to enjoy yourself if you're sleeping on a bench in the park and it's 20 degrees out. So I get that. Not everyone has an opportunity to grab moments of joy. But if you want to get back to the original Christmas Carol, the Cratchits had nothing, very little. And yet they were joyful on the holiday because they had each other and they had the holiday spirit. They were able to enjoy and find joy in the little things that they did have. And
the tiny things, even.
What is that thing you told me on the beach one time?
What did I tell you?
Oh, when I wanted to dig for sand crabs, and I said all of the people were going to be watching me. And what did you say?
I don't know. I don't remember.
What did he say?
We're never going to see them again.
Oh, I did say that. I said, we don't know those people. And when I say that to my wife, Nia, has been coming to grips with the fact that she has autism. And she's learning to unmask. And that's something that really helps her because the judgment you get from strangers is much stronger in Russia than it is in most other countries. And yeah, no, that's what I told you. Wanted to dig for sand crabs on the beach. You were worried people would stare at you. And I said, we don't know those people and we're never going to see them again. Also, if they go home and we're like, I just saw an adult woman digging for sand crabs like a child, that's a story that's going to bring them joy for the rest of their lives. I think about this in regards to the late Karroll Cathy, Jim's mother-in-law, me and Rachel's grandma. Every person who ever met her has a story about her. Every restaurant she ever ate at and screamed for the maitre d', those people talk about, one time I was working at Olive Garden and there was an old lady screaming for the maitre d'. And like, in a way, that like she was spreading misery in the moment. And that was upsetting. But in a way, she's spreading joy forever.
This is a story.
Right. Well, everyone has a story now. Yes, they can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Like the time she was on the set of the play reading a newspaper.
When I was in Aladdin, she tried to find...
Supposed to be in the audience, and she's out at a seat on the stage.
She would never pay attention. She would always bring a newspaper. I guess, she gets antsy. There's different neurodivergencies running in our family. Who's to say which mental problems she had? She collected them. Am I wrong, Rachel? Rachel perked up like, no, yeah, that's true.
We look up on the stage.
Right, she was sitting on the stage reading the newspaper when I was in Aladdin.
She was an extra.
And you know what? Stole the show.
I bet.
Like, the genie was good.
Yay.
Charlotte was a good genie. Who was the lady reading the newspaper, though?
That lady reading the newspaper, that was good.
Do we want to start plugging whatever we have
Carol
to promote?
Endure?
If you don't want to promote a social media or anything, you can promote a charity, although, Dad, you should shout out your book.
Okay, I will.
But yes.
Should I go first?
But first, why does A Christmas Carol endure? And then we'll get to that.
Why does
A Christmas Carol endure?
Because, one day we'll have a society where there aren't evil rich people and Christmas Carol will have no cultural relevance. That day is not today. Today, why, it's Christmas Day, of course. But unfortunately, Christmas Carol is actually the most relevant it has ever been.
Ray, what do you think? Why is it important?
Christmas Carol endures because there's always going to be people who feel like there's not enough in their life and everything is not good enough. But in reality, if they take the time to take the inventory of the things that they have, they realize they have a lot. Mm-hmm. Especially at Christmas.
Now, the reason I asked Rachel to go first is in case I didn't want to steal her thought if she used this one, because it's one of her favorite things in the whole world. And that is when someone or something that is bad somehow becomes good, the transformation is shared by all of us. And each one of us gets to revel a little bit in their own humanity by seeing someone else redeemed.
We always use the phrase saved, changed, and redeemed by this.
Because any good Christmas story, someone has to be saved, changed, or redeemed by the spirit of Christmas.
And that's why I made a Hanukkah special in which, and I think I even said this last year, I used the phrase saved, changed, and redeemed.
Exactly. You have to be saved, changed, or redeemed by the spirit of Christmas, which we are today. Look at us.
Yeah.
I feel saved, changed, and redeemed, if I'm being honest.
Me too. I'm full of the spirit right now. And I'm going to get out my boxes. I'm going to get out my boxes right now and start decorating for Christmas because it's after Thanksgiving.
I'm skinny as a drunken man.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, this is a story that is really about the hope that when we're the villain, or someone is the villain of someone else's story, even if it's yourself, that it's not too late for you to do better. Mm-hmm. And that, yes, Christmas has done me good and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
And God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.
All right, well, you got to give us and no one will be the wiser. He was also one of the grave robbers.
Okay, yes, right.
Because Marley is only in the first act. And this also became a vocal stim in the house.
This is where they all meet the pawnbroker.
And this was Rachel and Dad on stage together.
Rachel and I were both in this scene where it's very funny you should mention this because they all bring stuff from Ebenezer Scrooge's house now that he's passed away to sell. Mm-hmm. So the one, of course, is bed curtains. And the reason I say that, bed curtains? Well, of course, bed curtains. But the reason I say that is because it's stuck in my head. And all the time, for some bizarre reason lately, I hear bed curtains, bed curtains.
And that's being a theater person, baby.
And then say it, Dad, and no.
Okay, so this was my line. And I'm basically going to sell this stuff and to this guy, and everyone's going to be discreet. And I say, and no one will be the wiser.
And no one will be the wiser. It's a permanent vocal stim in our household, and that is why when I needed Cockney accents in a Christmas Carol type scene in my upcoming audio drama, the first person I thought of was J.J.B. Marlowe, author J.J.B. Marlowe.
Charlotte would like me to do a shameless plug.
You could do shameful. It's up to you how much shame you want to imbue into it.
My novelette, A Cyberpunk Tempest, which is basically...
Data Storm, A Cyberpunk Tempest, I think.
Yes, and it is basically a reworking of Shakespeare's Tempest in modern New York City with power players of modern billionaire-type innovators.
Bill Gates is a basis for a character.
The reason... Okay, I'm gonna tell you something I never told. I've only told a few people this. There's a part where there's a building in New York City, and on the top floor of that building, there's a doctor, and the doctor works on weird things like brains and hearts and hands and stuff like that, and creates part of what becomes these cybots that then basically try to take over the world. But the scary part about that is that part is true. Dr. Jarvik, who was the inventor of the artificial heart, the first artificial heart, had an office up there where he also lived and created innovations in various robotic human parts and cybernetic attachments, prostheses. And he would experiment. He had monkeys up there, and he would dissect the monkeys. And the guys who worked in the building would take the monkey parts and throw them in the furnace. But one of the guys kept the monkey parts.
Did you work in this building for stagehand purposes?
I worked at Broadcast Video Rentals there, which was on the second
place
floor.
Where they burn monkey brains.
On the top floor, yes, and they took the monkey parts and they put them in the furnace, but the guy also took some of the monkey parts home and fed them to his dog. Now, one day, I'm at BVR getting on the elevator, and this guy gets on the elevator who's so hideously deformed, and he was obviously going up to see Dr. Jarvik. So it was like this guy worked for him or something, but as like
a real life Igor.
Like Igor, like his henchman, yes. But he was so hideously deformed that I immediately thought, that's Caliban from The Tempest. I immediately saw this guy and said, and from that and the story about the monkey brains, the rest of it just started to come to me. And it took 4 years up here in my head before I wrote any of it down on the page. And when I did write it on the page, it was all about like the tiny little units of processing power, which they use in parallel processing, that when you take enough of them together, they can do anything. And in The Tempest, Prospero at the end gives a speech about ye elves, and which is also stolen from Ovid's Metamorphoses. It's not written by, monologue is not written by Shakespeare. It was stolen. And but about how all the little parts of these little elves and demigods and stuff all work together, form his art, but that he can't do it without them. Weak monsters though ye be, says, I have dimmed the noontide sun, and between the azure sea and the whatever it is called fourth roaring war. There you go. Cyberpunk Tempest. It's available on Amazon.
Link in the description.
Read it today. Description.
Yeah.
Bill Spears?
No, I said the link to it is in the podcast description is what I was saying.
Okay, the link is in the description. There you go.
Yes.
I thought you were telling me to tell this.
No, it's okay. It's all good.
The description is in the podcast description, so you can see it there. Whatever. What about you, Charlotte? What have you done recently?
Oh no, please, Rachel.
Rachel?
Well, I don't have anything to promote.
Weren't you trying to get something going? Because you're very politically active. You were running for council, and you did send me like a Facebook page that I should like about some organization you wanted to start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
but I didn't start it yet.
Okay.
Okay.
So do promote inclusion wherever you go.
Yeah, you could tell the listeners that. You could tell a message rather than a plug. Like,
well, my message is that promote inclusion wherever you go and try to include as many people as you possibly can.
Also, Rachel and I worked together on a No Kings rally in Ossining, New York. Rachel was on my stage crew as one of the stage managers. That was very interesting.
Hell yeah.
And also, I'm sure, I'll say this on Rachel's behalf, get involved in local politics. Any way you can.
We need more good guys in there.
And if you want to see me, you can see me in the church pageant. That's where I usually am every year.
I'll be there.
I will say that if you want to see the three of us, my dad, my sister, and I perform together, I do have a video. It is a reading of the 911 transcript from the Book of Bill, where Bill Cipher gets arrested.
Yes, that was so fun.
My father voices the interdimensional dispatcher, and my sister voices an employee at the Extra Mexican restaurant. And of course, I recorded Bill Cipher while actually blackout drunk for a little method acting. So now I'll make sure Jazz links that. But also, I have a disc. My dad did a Home Alone face just now to pretend to be shocked and appalled.
He did. It was great.
You know what Grandma always said? Rachel,
what did Grandma?
You're honest to a fault.
Yeah. I have nothing to hide anymore. I also am working on, as I said, a narrative podcast that takes influence from Victorian literature. So you might notice a little Psych in there. You might notice a little Christmas Carol in there. It's called The Mutiny of Keeley Hall, a sapphic swashbuckling whodunit. It won't be coming out until September, Talk Like a Pirate Day, but you will be able to hear my father's iconic Cockney accent in the first scene. I am voicing the pirate skeleton himself, Keeley Hall. So, and then we'll obviously have to get Rachel on board on this in some way, in some capacity, at some point, because I don't live in the United States anymore, and I don't get as many opportunities to see my family, and so I have to make them, and that's also something I want to tell the listeners is if you have people that are important to you, that were important to your development, that made you happy at a time when you had nothing, and you currently do not have a schedule that involves them, make one.
I'll be home Christmas.
You can count on me.
There'll be snow
and mistletoe
and presents under the tree.
Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only it's my dream. I love you. I'm so sorry. I love you.
Oh, Daddy, I miss you.
Got the lyrics wrong. Merry Christmas, everyone! Happy New Year!
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Joyous solstice, happy Hanukkah, happy Festivus for the rest of us, happy Kwanzaa.
God
whatever
bless
you celebrate,
everyone.
Whatever you celebrate with whomever you celebrate it. What was that? What?
Congratulations surviving 2025.
We're gonna. 2026 sounds like a sci-fi year. That's not real, right?
December 31st is the last day of the Earth, so it's over then. So.
Oh, thank God. Rapture Talk will be... Have you heard about Rapture Talk?
Oh, God, again?
I remember I told the story when Rapture Talk happened that on the previous day everyone thought the Rapture was going to be there. My dad went to buy us bagels, didn't hit any traffic, and was like, "This Rapture's not that bad. There's not as many cars on the road." But yeah, there were a bunch of religious fanatics on TikTok recently celebrating that the world was going to end because of.
Listen, they say that after they leave, there's going to be like volcanoes and all that. It's really a decent trade, actually. It's pretty good.
That just means the whole world becomes a beautiful Polynesian island. Like, what's wrong with that?
And we'll all
Not so bad. As long as we get rid of them, we should be fine.
Right.
And as for me, you can find me at Faber Rivera on all of the socials. It's a necessary evil, especially for this podcast, where you can find us on Twitter and Blue Sky at IER Podcast and in each retelling podcast.tumblr.com. And if you'd like to help us reach the next chapter of our story, please consider leaving a review on the podcatcher of your choice, rating us on the podcatcher of your choice, and even just giving us good word of mouth to the people in your life who might be into this nerdy stuff. Additionally, if you have room in your wallets, please consider donating to our Patreon. Once again, thank you to Kyle Calgren, and also thank you to our new patron, Juan Garcia. Hint, hint on who that might be. Thank you, Dad. I love you. Please consider being as cool as these two. They get cool perks out of it. Why not, if you have room in your wallet? Or we have a Ko-Fi link or the support the show link below. But whether you support us financially or not, anything you do to help us keep this little train going really means the world to us, and much like these stories we talk about, helps us continue on. And speaking of the next chapter of our story,
and once again, from all of us at Anit Retelling, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays in general. And speaking of the next chapter of our story, we are closing out 2025. Again, congratulations on surviving this insane year, everyone. But we will be actually talking about an upcoming release in the new year. This is a new release called Beth is Dead, and we will be talking to first-time author Katie Burnett as well. We hope you will join us, and remember, stories gain power in each retelling.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew. Or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them. For he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on this globe for good at which some people did not have their fill of laughter in the outset. And, knowing that such as these would be blind anyway, he thought it quite as well that they should wrinkle up their eyes and grins as have the malady in less attractive forms. His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever afterwards. And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May it be truly said of us, and of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone. Bah humbug. Ugh.